Happy Red Kingdom Friday. Dre and I discuss who is LT1, the NFL allowing players for flag football, and give our Chiefs Mount Rushmore. All that next on Gridiron Gambit.
Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Let's work. Hey.
Welcome into this Red Friday evening edition of Gridiron Gambit. We are your hosts for tonight, Clinton and Dre, and we are going to break down some kind of Chiefs news, some NFL news, and some reminiscent of Chiefs greats. Should be a fun show. Dre, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm good, man. Every week, every Friday, every time we have a conversation, man, it gets closer and closer to football time, man. So, yeah, I'm good.
Man, ain't that the truth? Weeks keep counting down, and you're like, shoot, where'd the time go last year? And then how fast the season went then, and blink, and training camp's going to come up very soon, and preseason in August, and at that point, once we hit September, we're back in full force again, in Chiefs and media stuff. So, hoping that time slows down a little bit during the summer, we can kind of just unwind, take a deep breath, and enjoy the off season a little bit. But hey, like the intro said, we still work. So, anything else you want to kind of leave people with before we move on with our first topic?
Like I said, man, football is almost here, man. It won't be too much longer of an off season because OTAs is coming up. Then after OTAs, then you get training camp. So, well, yeah, I'm ready.
That's right. Some other date on the NFL calendar is going to come up soon, and we'll be ready to discuss that. But for now, we're taking it slow, and that involves this first topic, which seems like it's more of a debate, I guess, of Simmons versus Moore. Adam Pitre, I put him on last podcast episode on that thumbnail, but he's tied a lot to this quote as well, and the reports that are coming out that perhaps the first round selection of the Chiefs, Josh Simmons, may be the plan A at left tackle even this year. And this is despite the signing of Jaylon Moore for that big contract that came out, especially that first year, and the fact that Simmons is coming off a season-ending injury and will need time to recover. So, what are your thoughts on this report?
No need to rush the process, man. No need to rush Josh Simmons. It's clear that the Chiefs have the plan to go with him at left tackle. But to me, it's still a head scratcher for the Jaylon Moore situation. I mean, granted, we signed Jaylon Moore before we got Josh Simmons, but I mean, I was looking at it earlier today. Jaylon Moore, as far as cap hit goes, he's the sixth highest cap hit on the team this year. You can't have that sitting on the bench, man. You can't. So, I mean, to me, in my opinion, you might as well get your money's worth with Jaylon Moore. But then, I don't know, man, because then if he goes into camp and he balls out in camp in preseason and then he solidifies that number one spot, and he just dominates and he has a heck of a season this year, then what do you do with Josh? Do you just get rid of Jaylon Moore then because you drafted Josh Simmons? Or do you use one of these guys that's trade bait? I mean, I don't know. But I personally think that Jaylon Moore should be the starter. He's guaranteed $21 million. For what I'm seeing, like the signing bonus was 7.5. He's averaging a salary of $15 million a year. I mean, but his cap hits, Yeah, he has a cap hit of 11.2 this year, and then next year it's at 18.75. So that's a lot of money to be sitting on the bench, man. So like I said before, he's starting. I don't care what nobody says, man. Jaylon Moore is a starter. That's where all your money is tied at, but he has to start, in my opinion.
For me, I like it because I like the Josh Simmons pick, and everyone clamoring the Chiefs need a left tackle in the future and need a long-term solution for that. This is that most likely option. And I hear what you're saying about Jaylon Moore and how expensive he is and how much that means that he needs to get playing time. But for me, like, the Chiefs' offensive line just needs to be better than it was ending last year. And at this point right now, left guard is also a question mark. It's got options there, but nothing solid as of this point. So if Jaylon Moore is your left guard, that's not the end of the world. I'm not saying I'm in favor of it. I think the Chiefs would probably kind of redo their free agency if they could have that assurance that it's Josh Simmons no matter what, and he'll be there at the end of the first round. But I don't think the Chiefs were in a position to take that risk and be left stranded with a hole at left tackle again. So if the thing that we're kind of debating right now, and the problem is that the Chiefs have too many left tackle options.
It's a good problem.
That's pretty good. And if Josh Simmons is great, then that allows you to make some future changes. Let's say Jaylon Moore is really good, but Jawan Taylor is struggling. Then you have the flexibility to perhaps put Josh Simmons at right tackle because he played both. It's not one of the cases where he's strictly on side. He's able to kind of play that versatility on either side. So if it's the point next year and it's Josh Simmons at right tackle and Jaylon Moore at left tackle, I think people will be pleased because Josh Simmons proved himself and can be a starter on the offensive line. The whole point that's got everybody kind of up in arms is the fact that, Jaylon Moore's getting paid this money, so he needs to play left tackle. If you want to argue, Jawan Taylor is the highest paid person on the offensive line right now, other than Trey Smith and his franchise tag, and Jawan Taylor plays right tackle. So the highest paid money should obviously go to left tackle, so he should play left tackle. I mean, that's the argument that's being made. It's just, hey, if you're paying money, then that guarantees the playing time or the importance. And, contracts in the NFL don't always work out that way. Just like it's work out that the first round pick is the absolute best and needs to start right away, and then the mid round picks are so, and none of the late round picks work out. We know the case can flip the exact opposite. So, just like everything, it's a gamble. The Chiefs gambled that, their potential left tackle of the future wouldn't be there in the draft. And, they kind of were able to benefit and get him. And now they got a problem of who is the best. And if, we're arguing who outperforms and seems to be the left tackle, I mean, that's a good problem to have. And I think if Josh Simmons is so good, the Chiefs will find a way to put him in the starting line. And I think if Jaylon Moore is a good enough player and, like you said, is making certain contract numbers that he is, then he should warrant somewhere a spot in the starting offensive line as well. So the left side of the offensive line needs and has adjustments. So if we're still kind of figuring out what's the best lineup there between the two guys mentioned, Kingsley at some point, Wanya Morris, a guy who's been in there before. If we're kind of discussing between those potential names, it's a good deal. that we're going to work this thing out, and hopefully whoever they choose gets a good enough shot at it for long term. I think regardless of who is the starting left tackle for the Chiefs, playing with Patrick Mahomes is kind of an adjustment in and of itself. And it seems like no matter who the Chiefs have brought in at left tackle, they seem to struggle a little bit. But, any good player will make the adjustment and can play to Patrick's strengths instead. So just like anything, give it time. But I would personally be in favor if Josh Simmons proves himself and can be the best left tackle on the Chiefs roster right now, just coming out of college. That might be a little sad on the state of the tackle position before that, but that may just speak to the level that Josh Simmons' potential could be. So, if he's the best option, if he's plan A, I'm okay with it because they would find another spot for Jaylon Moore to justify the contract that he got.
I mean, they got, in my opinion, they have to, because Jaylon Moore, as far as cap hit goes, he's getting paid this year more than Creed Humphrey. Cap hit. So, I mean, you got to find some. I mean, I get it. They gambled and, they went with a backup left tackle out of San Francisco that sat behind basically a Hall of Famer and Trent Williams, a future Hall of Famer and Trent Williams. But at the same time, sometimes you got to live with that gamble. In my opinion, you got to live with it. And I just feel like he has to play. And I don't even think about moving him in as a left guard because, I mean, you still got Kingsley and you still got Callie that could be right there at the guard. That they're going to experiment with those two as well at the guard position. So, yeah,
but, I mean, if you're going to argue about that and say, oh, you can't make Moore a guard because he's making this much money, I mean, you can't justify Jawan Taylor sitting because he's making $20 million either. And
Jawan Taylor's not going to sit though. Jawan Taylor, even with the penalties and stuff like that that he got, I mean, he's going to his job is nobody's threatening his job at right tackle. I don't think so. I mean, I get it that Josh Simmons can play right tackle, but no, I think Juan Taylor, I think with the money that he's getting paid, what is he cap hit 27 million? Oh, he's playing. He's definitely playing. So 27 million this year. And yeah, he's definitely, and he's the second highest player as far as cap hit goes. Pat's cap hit is 28 million. Juan Taylor's is 27 million. So Juan Taylor ain't coming off that unless he's hurt. He ain't coming off at right tackle. So that's why I say Jaylon Moore, y'all got to find something to do with Jaylon Moore, but it has to start. That's why I don't rush the Josh Simmons situation. Yes, he is the future. If that's what y'all got him for with the first pick, like he's the future. No need to rush it. No need to rush it. I feel like Jaylon Moore should go into the season as a starter. That's what you paid him for, because then it's going to look at it like, well, why'd you pay him then?
But what happens if you're doing an evaluation and you say on film Josh Simmons looks like a better tackle right now than Jaylon Moore or Jawan Taylor? Just because they're making that money, do you justify keeping the, quote, worst player in just because they're making more money? I mean, that's the definition of tanking right there. I'm going to play the older guy that's making more money just because of his contract versus the younger guy who's arguably got more talent.
And then if that's going to be the case, then we got to start looking at Brett Veach when it comes to evaluation of playing players then. Because why are you paying for one, you overpaid Juan Taylor. I never liked that signing to begin with. I never liked it. And he's getting paid there almost $30 million this year. And to me, he's an average right tackle. He's getting paid top dollar for his right tackle. And then in this case right here, yeah, Jaylon Moore, yeah, man, I don't know. You got to look at the evaluation. I mean, I always said Brett Veach is cheap, but this right here is looking like what are you doing? It is almost like a swing. It's just a swing. Like, yeah, we got to secure this spot because we look pretty bad. We look pretty bad in the Super Bowl, and you want to secure that you want to solidify that spot on the line. But at the same time, man, like I just don't. Me personally, I just feel like if you're going to have him sitting on the bench, that 12 million or whatever, how much he was getting, 21 million guaranteed, that could have went to a wide receiver or something. If we're going to go that route,
but it's playing left guard, quote, sitting on the bench and not being justified of his money. Like if you're just asking him to play guard instead of Simmons, the guy you're going to get 5 years out of, versus Moore, who you're only going to see at least for 2 years.
I mean, if Jaylon, but he's only going to get moved to right guard. He's only going to get moved to left guard if Callie or Kingsley struggles, and it's a possibility that Kingsley might do pretty well at left guard. Like Dale said, he need to do something making that money. He need to do something. I don't know if he needs to be passing out water or something. I don't know, but he needs to be doing something. He need to be starting doing something. I don't know, special team. I don't know. They might say too big for special teams, but I don't know. He need to do something. He needs to be playing to justify paying that money to a backup.
I get that. And Simmons could probably benefit from a Patrick Mahomes year where he sits all year and plays like a meaningless game or two, so be it. But we could also argue that if Patrick Mahomes actually plays the season that he's in, how do the Chiefs end their season versus, how they did? If you just give the rookie the full year to play and say, yeah, you're going to make mistakes and we'll just live with whatever mistakes those are. But the sooner you make those mistakes, the faster you're going to grow and the better player you're going to be in the long term. So let's get those out of the way faster. So that's why, like, all these rookie offensive linemen, they get starts right out of the way. And after a year or two, they're like, oh, man, these players don't look great. And then by the fourth year, they're all pros and, they're stalwarts at their position on whatever team drafted them. So if Josh Simmons has that potential for the Chiefs, then you got to ensure that happens and, not make the Kingsley mistake last year and give him the full chance to prove himself if he is or is not.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I get that, Dale. You don't want to waste the money.
Jaylon Moore is not young, though. I mean, not old, though. He's only 27. So, I don't know, man. I get it. I mean, if Josh Simmons is going, I get it. You want to get the growing pains out the way and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, so we just going to really just sit here and really use literally have a $21 million guy just sitting on the bench just for insurance policy?
I mean, it doesn't sound good financially, but like you said, Brett Veach can have hit or misses with his contracts in of itself. Arguably, his best contracts are the ones where he re-signs the players he already has.
Yes.
But getting guys off the street, other than, our rotational mid contracts for our safeties and the Joe Tooney contract that worked out, we got to trade him away after that. I mean, you can argue what was some of the more successful free agent contracts outside of the organization. So if Brett Veach is really good at drafting, then that's what he wants to flex on. So that's why maybe some of the reports are like, oh, no, our draft prowess is hitting again, guys. We got our left tackle of the future, and it's Josh Simmons, not the guy that we just paid a bunch of money to in free agency.
We have if we look at our schedule, like the beginning of this year and who Josh Simmons is going to be going up against the first few weeks of the season, y'all want him to get his growing pains in right then and there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, because I'm looking at the schedule, and yeah, we got Chargers week 1, Philly week 2. The Giants got a nice defensive line. You got
Well,
Baltimore and you got Jacksonville. He's gonna, and then it's like if he comes in and he struggles, you're gonna have team fans be like, "Oh, get him out of there!
I
Get him
understand.
out of there!"
I'm on your side. Okay, if Josh Simmons isn't ready, then don't start him. That I'm not saying put him out there if he's trash. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. The
I
team
don't
needs to
think he's
do
gonna be
whatever they.
trash though. I just don't think they need to rush him.
Exactly. But the team needs to do whatever they can to win this year, also, as like on top of the future. If Jaylon Moore is the left tackle for just this year, no one's going to be upset by that. But I think the issue is like, oh, well, it has to be expected that Jaylon Moore stays at left tackle because of the money you made. But I'm saying if that comes at the hindrance of Josh Simmons, then we need to rip up that thinking and be more flexible in whatever it takes to win this year and prepare ourselves for the future. But if Josh Simmons would benefit from a Mahomes year to sit, and then it's like, oh no, like he's going to be dominant right out of the gate, and y'all are going to be surprised, and then like all pro immediately without ever being seen. If he's got that potential and they're willing to sit on it for a year and still be good, then that's our winning formula. But the Chiefs need to have their left tackle plan sorted out. That's why we need to get to actual lining up on field and have the other guys, our veterans as well, be there and free agents to see what everybody looks like together, and not just kind of getting to glare at the rookies and see what they've done in their practices with the coaching staff and stuff. So and anything else you want to discuss about the left tackle battle ahead?
Nah, man. I mean, I guess we'll see with the people that get paid to evaluate. We'll see what they decide when it comes to end of training camp. But I personally think that Jaylon Moore at left tackle should be the start. But I mean, Josh Simmons he's a first round draft pick, and a lot of people had him as one of the top guys on their draft boards. It's just that his injury scared a lot of teams away. So a lot of people are saying that this is a steal for the Chiefs. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Josh Simmons, but I just wouldn't be a fan of it because of what Jaylon Moore is getting paid to do, and he just sit there. So,
right. It's all semantics. And like I said, if we're complaining about who could be the best left tackle for the Chiefs, we feel miles ahead of how we felt in February. So,
right.
Before we go ahead and move on to our next topic,
make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a like or a comment so we can reply and interact with you and make you a part of the show. If you listen to us on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars so we can increase our reach in the playlist. Follow us and all our contributors on all the social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. If you'd like to come on and talk Chiefs, message us so we can potentially set that up. Do you enjoy written content? Subscribe to our Substack. We have both a free and a $5 a month subscription and post on there frequently. And if you have any interest in being a contributor on the writing staff, feel free to reach out and we'll be in touch. It would help support the brand if you would purchase our merch, like the shirt that I'm wearing currently. Set up an order for one of these or 2 or 3, and this will allow us to expand our inventory options. Thanks for being a part of this channel, and if there's any partner that's listening to this interested in sponsoring the show or any other content that we produce, please reach out. Now, back to the show.
And we are going to move on to our next topic, which has to do a little bit more about NFL in general, but we'll, of course, trickle in some Chiefs players. NFL and flag football. So the NFL has granted access for the NFL players to play in the Summer Olympic Games in 2028. So
Who are some of the KC players you would be excited to see compete?
Obviously Pat. Pat, he's pretty much got every award as far as NFL goes. I mean, you gotta get the gold medal, man. So yeah. But I mean, obviously I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, what are we in 2025? Does Trav hold out? Does he take a break and come back 2028? I don't know. He might want to try to get that gold medal, man. It's flag football. It's not tackle. So I'm pretty sure he'll be able to get out there and run around. But I was listening to Shannon Sharp the other day, and him and Chad Ocho was talking about it. And Shannon Sharp believes that the NFL team that we put out for the USA will get smashed by other teams. So I don't know. Now with Pat out there, you got to. I mean, it's just I don't know. I like Pat out there. You get Xavier Worthy out there, possibly Hollywood, and then on defense, I mean, you can see. I mean, I wouldn't be CJ would probably be out there for sure. I mean, you got Big Duffy. I would pop out there. I mean, I would love. For sure, I would love to see Pat out there, and I think he will be the front runner for starting QB as because I mean he's the face of the league. I mean, you got to have the face of the league overseas playing the first year in 2028 in California, and yeah, why not?
I mean,
Pat.
That's the obvious answer right there, and we can go on and on about that. Like Patrick Mahomes would need to be over there and just being able to show his arm strength off, like just chuck it downfield and not be afraid you're going to get blindsided or pulled down by a speedy rusher. Like that would be fantastic. Kind of a reunion with a Tyreek Hill maybe.
Yeah. You got to see Pat with Tyreek. You can see Pat with possibly Chase. Pat with Justin Jefferson. I mean, you can go on and on with who Pat throwing passes to, man. Running backs, Pat with Ashton Genty or whoever. Because I mean, with that 2028, so that Genty would be 3 years into the league already. So, man, look, I think it'll be fantastic. I can't wait. I can't wait to see who will be the coach. Would you get Big Red out there? I mean, typically they tend to get the older coaches, the more successful NBA coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what do you get? You get Big Red out there, maybe Sean Payton or somebody like that, an all-star coaching team. But
or maybe now, like in basketball, it used to be college basketball, and you had Duke's head coach. So maybe Bill Belichick, since he's the quote college football coach now, he stays at North Carolina for this long. He becomes the coach of USA.
Yeah, I think, or hell, they possibly Prime in Colorado or something. Who knows? They gotta have the circus media and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just excited to see it, man. Like, obviously, flag football is becoming a big sport, especially with everybody wanting to be more safe when it comes to playing football. And it's just a growing sport. So now it's where it's a big sport in high school now. High school teams have flag football teams, and my daughter just got done playing flag football for her middle school, so all girls team. So it's growing into a real big sport, and I actually look forward to seeing it. I'm sure they're gonna. Who knows? They might have a females flag football team in the Olympics. I don't know. At some point, maybe when the men grow and it keeps going and they be successful, or whatever. Then you go on. But I'm pretty sure a lot of these teams, a lot of these countries, they probably gonna get a lot of rugby guys. Right. So I don't know, man. a lot of owners might be a little iffy on that situation too. They might not sign off on a lot of their players going over there to play that stuff. But Pat can't even play basketball, so Brett Veach and them might say, Pat, you can't go.
Hey, I mean that's a possibility, and it's funny that you say, "Oh, it's too dangerous," and you're talking about flag football when they
could be a torn ankle, all type of things.
Yeah, for sure. and different playing surfaces and different grass, and we've seen the storylines and horrors about playing on bad fields and all that. To circle back, even if he's not still in the NFL, if you're Travis Kelce, I think there's no way that you miss out on, being able to be a Olympic gold medalist for flag football. Like, I feel like there's no way you miss that. Like, I feel like you stay in shape just a little bit to be able to reunite with Pat if this is his last official year in the NFL. Just a couple years, keep your body in check, and if it's flag football, nobody's physically tackling you to the ground, so it's just about how shaky you can be. And if you got a dink and dunk to Travis Kelce, I think he's willing to take that that Magic Johnson role in the dream team approach, or somebody down the line that doesn't contribute much but gets to be in the spotlight.
In 2028, Trav will be 39. Well, he'll be 38 going in because he's 30. He'll be 36 in October, but still to be a Summer Olympics, of course. So I think that Trav will be 38 going into the Olympics. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But I think that at the end of the day, it might just be active rosters, honestly. So he might have to, unless he might come back for one more run or something like that. I don't know. I do think that this is going to be his last year, though, as far as because this is his last year on his contract. So I think he does go off into the sunset, and they're gonna try to make this season for him. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind seeing Trav out there on the flag football field playing with Pat one more time.
If that was the case, then you need to bring his brother out of retirement and be able to.
Oh snap. Yeah, you got to get Jason out there too, man.
You got to have the Jason to Patrick snap that never was. That I'm sure Andy was hoping to reunite at some point, but the Eagles were never going to let him go, and then we kept.
If we didn't have Creed, I'm almost positive that Andy Reid would probably be on the phone to call Jason if we didn't have Creed.
For sure. So if I'm thinking of anybody else like on the Chiefs roster, Isaiah Pacheco could be interesting if he could have the bursts. But if getting a flag torn off you versus tackled is the difference, I don't really know.
Pop runs too hard. He runs too. He looks for contact when he runs, man. So they might have to tell him to calm down, man. You can't run into people, man. You gotta avoid people. And Pop, he does it. He runs. He looks for contact. So
you can argue that Rashee Rice is kind of that way too. So yes. I got to give it to Xavier Worthy. If I said the Tyreek Hill pair up, then give him the actual, combine record breaker for speed, and say, hey, no one can knock you down, because that would be illegal. So they have to just kind of lightly touch you and let you run fast. I mean, that's the Madden cheat code right there. 99 speed, 99 quarterback throwing. Just as soon as I see your man-to-man, 1, 2, boo, throw it over your head, touchdown every play, 100-0. Why wouldn't we be running it up?
Imagine Xavier Worthy and Tyreek Hill on the same offense. Ooh. As a DB, oh my goodness, man. I'll be nervous for sure. Like, oh man, that is a lot of speed on that offense right there. So yeah, I don't know. That would be nice though. I don't know. But he's got to have like some nice years coming up these next couple years for Xavier Worthy to even be considered to go on to be, because that obviously with it being the first year for the Olympics, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go with the real big names like the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chases and stuff like that. So they're gonna go with them guys first. But I don't know. I can't wait. I cannot wait till 2028, man, and see how it goes, man. I can't wait. I want to know how the format is, like what countries are gonna be in it, and everything like that. So yeah,
That'll be fun. And then I think another element on top of that is once it gets adopted more and more countries want to participate in the flag football events, then we get to see, some of the Canadian NFL players and from all the other countries, and you get to kind of see that the same way that the World Baseball finals go, where you get to see all the players represent their certain countries. So if you got a little bit of that element as well, where you get to see, oh yeah, that person's from somewhere else, like you do when you watch the international basketball, like when the NBA players split up. I think that could be a fun dynamic to watch as well.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really hear the. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of them that are playing currently in NFL that are like from different countries and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that when the 2028 Olympics start for flag football, I'm pretty sure, like you said, it'll highlight. Oh, I didn't know he was from there, and stuff like that. So that'll be nice to witness as well. So,
yep, that'll be fun to watch. And the NFL is wanting to ensure that they are talked about all throughout the year. And now that will include the summer months as well. You think, oh, during the summer the NFL dies down, there's nothing to talk about. Nope, the NFL is making sure they stay in the pop culture for 365. So
there we go.
It's going to be a long wait, but we'll have to circle back around for this conversation and figure out if the hype is still there and see if we got the star power and the flag football that you were hoping to hear, or we're picking off the scrap heaps, or we're going in the college ranks. So hopefully it works out and football gets to expand more. I'm sure we're all rooting for that.
That's the goal. That's what Goodell wants. I mean, he's already playing. We already got teams playing overseas, Brazil and Germany and London and all them other places. So that's what he wants. So this is perfect for Roger Goodell. He loves this, I'm sure.
Absolutely. He'll be wanting to reap in the dollar amounts that come with being on the Olympics. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So, let us officially move on to our final topic, which is the Chiefs Mount Rushmore. So plain and simple, the people who are watching this on YouTube, they can already see the thumbnail. They can already see the four that you've selected, but just to let anybody else out there watching or listening that want to give their Mount Rushmore, all-time personnel of any type, your Mount Rushmore for the Kansas City Chiefs. Who do you have?
For my Mount Rushmore, because I don't remember what was on that photo, because I just stole that from somebody. But my Mount Rushmore obviously is gonna be Pat's on there. Travis Kelce. Then you get Big Red. And then I know a lot of people are going to say Derek Thomas. I didn't start watching the Chiefs until 99, which was my first NFL game. So I didn't get to watch a lot of Derek Thomas. But I mean, obviously he's one of the greatest Chiefs of all time from the history and stuff like that I did get to see of his. But I would probably put probably. I mean, I don't know. I would probably put CJ on there, honestly. CJ you can go CJ or DT on there, honestly. But or I could be. A lot of people might not like it, but I mean, I could, the guy who built who built the foundation of the current dynasty that we have, Mr. Dorsey himself. But no, I would go probably Pat, Trav, Big Red, and CJ, or I mean, you can even go Tony Gonzalez too, but because of the stuff that he went through, like, he was basically the focal point of the offense, and we just couldn't win for him. So,
Right.
yeah.
And I feel like you could ask this question in a couple different ways. You could say, like, who are the most important, and like the most important are your Mount Rushmore, or like who are your four personal favorite? And favorite could be like front office or it's only players, depending on how you look at it. So I respect your choices there, and we may have to like go back around and say, okay, just like your personal favorite, who are your favorite four. But if I'm giving my Mount Rushmore Chiefs, meaning like the four most important figures that were for or around the Chiefs, my first one has to go with the founder himself, and it was the anniversary of bringing the Chiefs officially to Kansas City a few days ago. So Lamar Hunt's got to be the first picture, the first face on Mount Rushmore, because he was, Chiefs football altogether, and the reason that the Chiefs are in Kansas City right now, and that we're able to have this podcast and celebrate this team all together, and not staying in Dallas. And thank you, the NFL, for wanting to push Lamar Hunt out of Dallas. So he found Kansas City, and Kansas City hopes that they never leave. So Lamar Hunt has to be my first head on Mount Rushmore for sure. And then I think in terms of importance, I think Len Dawson is on mine as well.
Lenny.
Just for the sheer fact that it wasn't just playing Super Bowl and winning it. It was broadcasting and being a fixture in Kansas City after the fact, and kind of being that representative of the area when he didn't originally start out here anywhere close, and kind of bounced around the NFL before becoming the AFL star there. So I think just for that, I got to give Len Dawson a spot on Chiefs importance. And then you can start tossing it up. And I still think the older generation would kind of hate me if I didn't throw Derek Thomas on there. Just the impact that he made also in the community as well, and kind of setting that example for what a Chiefs player does in order to benefit the Kansas City community as much as the community does to benefit the team and the players. And 7 sacks in one game in the NFL record still doesn't hurt. So I got to give 58 for Kansas City, his time in the spotlight here. I think he still deserves his spot as Mount Rushmore, even if the Chiefs in the tenure of his career didn't get to amount the success that we're able to see and celebrate right now. And then you could argue out of the big three, who deserves to be on there the most. Is it Andy Reid, because he's the one that builds the whole foundation and had to set it up? Is it Patrick Mahomes, because he's the star quarterback that was able to do the things that we never thought possible for a Chiefs uniform? After Len Dawson had been done playing with us. Is it Travis Kelce, the most popular weapon we've ever seen, and immediately taking over that Tony Gonzalez spot in our minds as the best tight end, and the best tight end always plays for Kansas City, and being able
it's crazy not to cut you off or anything like that, but it's rare that you see a team have 2 great tight ends, Hall of Fame tight ends, back to back like that. Trav's going to the Hall of Fame, but I thought that after Tony Gonzalez, it was going to be a wrap. But Travis Kelce came in, and he basically, it was some big shoes to fill, and he filled them and then some.
Right. So all that being said, I'm not disrespecting Patrick or Travis here, but I think just because of the foundational being set, and people could be upset that I didn't put Hank Stram up there because of his importance to the organization, and he won Super Bowls and all that. But I think I need to put Andy Reid as my fourth, because the story out of Philadelphia and how he kind of left there, and I don't know if staying on him's the right word, but Andy Reid was not seen as a positive light, and I think the NFL still valued him, but I don't think media or the average fan was really thinking, oh, Andy Reid is really going to turn a franchise around and be innovative and all these superlatives that he's gotten since being the oldest head coach in the NFL now, since Bill Belichick has moved on. You have to respect that. And the fact that, Kansas City can claim Andy Reid as our best coach we've ever had, and they have more wins than the Philadelphia Eagles, the bad taste that the last game had versus the Eagles, but just, I think you got to give it to Andy Reid. He did so much to turn this franchise around. He and Clark Hunt, the son of Lamar Hunt that I just put up here, they have that connection, and I think Andy is kind of embodying the things that Lamar wanted his team to be and look like and perform like. And the fact that we had a segment that talks about a star quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs possibly being a fixture and being able to excel overseas and make an impact in the media would probably just mean the world to him. And arguably that's because of Andy Reid and the trust that Clark had in him to turn this team around. And once we got Patrick Mahomes and had that foundation aligned, then we were able to reach the mountaintop. So, it was tough picking between those three, but I think Andy Reid kind of deserves 0.1% extra credit just because he had to tough it out and, handle the situations that he did, and the fact that we can celebrate him and claim him as a Chief more than they can an Eagle sets him apart in my mind, for sure.
Andy Reid came in from Philadelphia and started winning immediately in Kansas City with Alex Smith. So shout out to Alex Smith, and thank you, Philadelphia Eagles, for getting rid of Andy Reid and handing him to us. Yeah, I know a lot of Philly fans. I talked to a few Philly fans that kind of still wish that Andy Reid was still there. They love Andy Reid in Philly for sure. But I'm glad he's the Kansas City Chiefs head coach.
Facts. So that was the more important figureheads. Do you have a top 4 Kansas City personnel just in terms of fun or interesting or personal attachment? The 4 Chiefs players that you identify the most with or personally enjoy the most.
For starters, when I started watching the Chiefs in '99, Marty Schottenheimer was a head coach. So Marty got to go on there, to me, in my opinion. I got to put Marty on there. It's just like every time I think of Kansas City and growing up as a kid and stuff, I just think of Marty sitting on the sidelines with that white and red Chiefs hat on, man. Like with the glasses and everything, man. I'm still a little disappointed that he I listened to some of the history and I'll read some of the stuff, and how he went with Elvis Gerback over Rich Gannon. So yeah. So a lot of people still hate Marty because of that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he saw, but hey.
Right.
But Marty definitely has to go in there just because when I think of Chiefs as a kid growing up, I think of Marty Schottenheimer. Tyreek Hill, he's on he has to go on there. He's one of my favorite Chiefs wide receivers of all time. I'm a little disappointed that he left, but I get why he left. And then you got obviously to me still Pat. Pat's still my favorite. He's my favorite Chiefs. I mean, I even got the Chiefs cereal, the Mahomes Crunch cereal, man. So
what flavor do you prefer? Because I got the Mahomes Crunch or I got the Kelsey's Crunch. Which would you prefer?
I didn't get the Kelsey's Crunch, but I do have I got like 3 boxes of these actually. He's like so I want Pat one day. Hopefully I can see Pat to where he signs these for me. I got like 3 boxes, man. So
yeah, what an impromptu moment for Gridiron Gamer right there. No one saw the cereal boxes coming right there.
So I gotta get my guy Pat to sign those. So to me is my favorite. So Pat, Tyreek, Marty Schottenheimer, and as far as on the defensive side is Eric Berry. Just Eric Berry. A lot of people didn't like him getting paid that amount of money and stuff like that. But I mean, to me, Eric Berry is still my favorite safety in Chiefs history. So yeah, it's still weird seeing people wear that 29 jersey, man. I feel like that jersey should be retired, to my opinion, just for all the stuff that he went through, and then him dominating and coming back and after fighting cancer and everything like that. So, that first time, his first game back, man. If you can't almost not human if you didn't almost shed a tear seeing Eric Berry come out of that tunnel, man.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, Eric Berry, Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Marty Schottenheimer are my 4.
Okay, well, you gave me a lot to think about, and your last point about Eric Berry, he was definitely on my list. Eric Berry is one of my top favorites, and that cancer storyline and coming back from that, and the crappy ending that we had with him, and never get to see him at least perform a little bit with Steve Spagnuolo, and how everything kind of
he would
came
have
to
been
crash and
nice.
cold. That was so sad, but for what he did and what he meant for the Chiefs and how everyone rallied around him, he'll always be one of my personal favorite attachments to him. Patrick Mahomes, all my young childhood was saying, when was Kansas City going to get a quarterback? And now we have the one that everyone hates the most. And we almost have to no, he's the best still. And everyone tries to still doubt him. And, he plays better that way. And we just have to let that go. But just with his playing style and the highlights and all the things that he's been able to do, and kind of own this city and adopt it as his home, even though he's a Texas boy. He's accepted Kansas City as his second home, and really
he bought Whataburger here, man.
I mean, you can't underestimate the power of an NFL quarterback. So the fact that Kansas City has one is remarkable, and he's still one of my favorites despite that. Christian Okoye for me is one of my personal favorites. I've always had an attachment to him. Tecmo Bowl may or may not filter into that opinion a lot, but then watching his play style and again seeing that connection to Kansas City and just seeing the good nature that he is. Once I've seen him and latched onto him, everything I've seen about him has impressed me enough to keep that legend, or the legend of the nightmare, alive. That he'll always have that mystique and respect for me that I'll always admire from that. And then I could give it to a player. I could say Jamal Charles, just because he kind of carried that mid 2000s before Andy Reid came in, and might have been one of the only bright spots of watching Chiefs football back then and just saying, just wait, tomorrow will break a run at some point, and inevitably will happen, but the scoreboard didn't reflect that positive moment. But I think in terms of like favorites, I think Hegstrom takes my 4th spot. I think just because seeing, we're a little young for all the stuff that went down, but NFL Films has recycled his footage over and over again. We hear 65 toss power trap over and over again watching any of the Chiefs productions. So, we see plenty of Hank Stram and, just the personality and what he meant and kind of laying that early foundation for the Chiefs. He kind of gives my 4th spot just because I've always liked personality. You can see the highlights in the Super Bowl. Len Dawson smoking a cigarette. It's always a good one. But, just, Chinese fire drill. I could go through all the sound bites, but, that's to me sometimes the bits of football that stick out to us and are the most memorable for us. So those are our top 4 favorite Chiefs and also our Mount Rushmore most important Chiefs. This has been Gridiron Gambit. We thank you all for watching. Please leave a like and comment. Let us know that you enjoyed the show. Respond to any of the questions that we had in the show. Let us know if you have any other questions or comments that you would like us to address in a future episode of the show. But that has been our time. Dre, do you have anything that you'd like to send the people off onto their weekends with?
Nah, man. Go follow us on YouTube, man. YouTube, and hit that bell, hit that thumbs up button as well, and share the YouTube, people.
Share it. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We're still extending our giveaway. If we can get to 500 subscribers and you got a public email address connected to your YouTube channel, we will be raffling off something. So you will not want to miss that. But those of you who are already supporters of us, we thank you very much for listening, watching, liking, sharing, following, commenting, all the things that you do to keep this channel moving. We would not be anything without you guys. And we thank you so much for your time and for your dedication to Red Kingdom Media. With that, we thank you all for watching. We hope you have a good weekend. And as always, go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion. So please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.